Welcome everyone in today's discussion when I'm sitting down with Kai Schmidt, the People and Culture Vice President of BOS Group. Today's topic are the values of the entire BOS Group and why they matter. Hello Kai, thank you very much for accepting our invitation for this discussion. First and foremost, could you tell a little bit about yourself?
I'm Kai, I'm the VP People and Culture, as you said. I'm working with BOS since 2 years now. I have almost 20 years of experience within the people and culture / HR area. So I've worked for international concerns, companies on concern level, but also in subsidiaries in Germany, but also abroad, meaning in France and US. One exciting project was to set up a company from scratch for satellite design and production, which was quite cool. I came into the automotive environment 5 years ago. Had an assignment with INEOS Automotive where we developed and produced the INEOS Grenadier. And then I got, due to a former colleague, the opportunity to join BOS, which I'm really enjoying because it's an international company, but not too big. But international enough to have these cultural assets and the diversity of cultures, but also the agility to bring in my ideas and get the development and evolution of my area, meaning people and culture, because I have backing of our managing directors that I can really go forward and implement things as I'm suggesting.
First of all, can you tell us a little bit about the 5 values that we have decided on at the BOS Group and why these 5?
The 5 values are not top-down decided. The 5 values are authentic, aligned, ambitious, empowered, and passionate. We had a working group to elaborate which values we would like to go for. So this was a long-term process, but in order to reflect our different cultural heritages, we also ask our Young Talent Program participants to finalize and recheck their understanding, that we make sure that's not a top-down and Germany-driven decision. So for us, it was always important that this will be founded on our international setup.
And what do you think? Why is it important, if it's important, for a global company like ours to have a strong set of shared values?
I would say the initial question is, where does my engagement come from? It's not initially about the values itself. It's more, how do I get my daily motivation, my engagement? And here I would say it's very important that when you get tasks, you also get a kind of freedom to act and take your own decisions. So it will be for some people more, depending on the level, for some people less. But generally, everybody in the company will have a certain freedom to act and decide. And this comes along with a certain responsibility, because when you have your freedom, then you also need to take responsibility and accountability what you have done. Of course, you can't only do this just by yourself. You need information you will get from your superior or other colleagues, but you will also have to have challenges. If you don't get challenges, then your job might be boring and you won't be proud of the results you will have achieved. Therefore, challenges comes also along with the task on your daily routine. And this all needs to be funded on a kind of trust you will get or you deserve from your managers and colleagues, along with feedback loops, along with support. So this is, let's say, the framework of interacting with others in your company. So in order to give kind of framework and orientation, because values is a kind of compass where everyone can rely and orientate on, we have decided for these 5 values, which make sure that these prerequisites, as I just said, gaining your motivation, are somehow reflected. And that's why we came up with alignment, ambition. This is linked to the challenges, being empowered, because when you need to have kind of freedom to act, then you need to be empowered for those tasks. And overall, a passionate behavior is important, because this is infectious at the end. So if you are dedicated and proud what you're doing, then this will be impacting other ones. And that's why this is a positive spiral, leveraging and boosting motivation.
Some people might say that values are really nice words written on paper or printed on a poster. What can we do, or what can you do in the day-to-day to make sure that these are lived values and not just words?
From my experience, this is kind of often misunderstanding that values is a task from the people and culture / HR team or from the managers. For me, this is a responsibility which has everyone in the company. It's not just the manager or the people and culture department, as I said. So everyone's responsibility to reflect yourself in your daily routine. How do I behave? How do I think? And to challenge yourself, am I on this value way or not? How can I improve, or how can I encourage other ones or give tips how to readjust yourself? At the end, if you are doing this on a regular basis, then you will move or develop the company culture. So again, it's not something people and culture drives. It's not something the manager drives. It's everyone's responsibility to do something around the values. I mean, I can give an example. Just recently, one of my team members asked me some questions around a kind of ordinary topic. And I read this and I thought, okay, so why he's not able to decide by himself? So normally he doesn't need to ask me. So at the end, I gave him my advice and a suggestion, and he came back, okay, let's do it this and this way. This was a kind of remote exchange. But when we met at the office, I took some time and said, okay, so we had this exchange, this topic. Why do you feel that you couldn't take the decision by yourself? Why did you think you need to ask me? So at least I encouraged him for future similar topics that he can take those decisions by himself. So this was a kind of minor topic. So I would like to give him the confidence that he can decide by himself. And the other advantage is that I could focus on other topics. So it will be a more efficient way in the future. And obviously he will be proud that he can do it by himself and not just asking for everything his superior. So how do I perceive that values are taken into consideration? The example is an easy one. Within the top management, the sales team with the managing director, Ivo Lugenbühl, have asked themselves what are the levels of approval when we are signing an offer. So we have reviewed different KPIs and decided on different KPIs in order to empower sales accountants signing contracts and making clear on which certain levels they need to involve the managing directors or even the board of directors or the advisory board. So, which at the end helps everyone to accelerate order intakes and not being slowed down because nobody knows how to approve or decide on certain sales opportunities.
But to leave such positive notes on your team and the organization, you have to live the empowerment value itself. So that comes from yourself, as you said it as well. But as a group and as an organization, we somehow have to make sure that everyone gets to know and then slowly but surely internalize all these values. For that specific reason, currently we are in the middle of the global implementation of the entire value project, which, just as a quick recap to get to today, started in our HQ in Stuttgart with the board of directors and then the vice presidents. And then the next task was to all plants from Mexico to China have similar workshops with their management and cascade it down. As you said, it's not a now we are pushing these values down sort of way, but this is more of a communication channel so that people can familiarize themselves with the whole values. This is a really interesting topic, and you are helming this project currently. You are in Hungary for this specific reason. Can you tell me a little bit about this journey?
I see myself in the responsibility to give some suggestions and inspirations how you would run those workshops with your teams. So the Hungarian leadership team asked me to join these workshops, other sites too. If other sites would prefer to do this by themselves, I'm fully okay. So finally, I see my role in encourage people to reflect on their behavior and mindsets, give them some inspirations, but also would like to take some findings back to the headquarter, because we could do improve communication / the alignment topic. So you will, with these workshops, you will find some local topics you would like to improve, but you will likely also find something what we from the central department's headquarter could also improve. So that's why these kind of feedback loops are important with these workshops. Secondly, so this is an initiative which should be rolled out across the globe, but everybody needs to understand this is an evolution. So to implement values and minds and hearts, it's not something where you switch on the button. This is a topic which should be anchored for a long time, so that's why it deserves a certain time to do so.
Were there any major, I wouldn't necessarily call it major, but bigger differences between the countries during these implementation workshops? I imagine their understanding and maybe their focus would be on different aspects of each value.
Honestly, I didn't see major differences because one asset of BOS is that so many people have a very long length of service. Meaning 15, 20, 25, even 30 years, which already reflects a strong set of values. Even you wouldn't name these values, but it's obvious that people like working for BOS. I would say rather than differences, some similarities. The colleagues see some room for improvement along the authentic value. This is linked to a difficult task, really, to admit mistakes. So everyone is everyone is making mistakes, but it's really hard sometimes to admit mistakes, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, this is my fault." Or to give constructive feedback if someone is doing a mistake, but you don't want to hurt them in a very professional way. I think here we could offer some trainings or some advices or having some talks with people who are more used to do those things in order to be more authentic or to lead more in an authentic way. So this is something what I found could be improved on different sides. On the other side, a quite strong asset is the alignment one. Here I see a very strong cohesion amongst the leadership teams. So that's not really necessary to improve, because I see a kind of blind understanding. So they're working since a long time together. So even have started those workshops, they immediately switched on and started working and came out with really great results. So a strong asset is, I would say, the alignment on the other side.
This I was able to see actually hands-on. The implementation workshop in Hungary was just yesterday, and what I immediately saw that first, the management team was a bit hesitant at the beginning of the day, but as soon as they started to work on the actual values and starting to map the local organization and where we are and where we should be going, they immediately switched into this, all right, let's do this kind of mentality. And while challenging each other, it was really clear that they are steadily moving forward towards a common understanding and goal for the local team. So that was really, really nice to say.
I have to agree. And even on the one side, locally, they're well aligned, but they're also very well self-reflected. So they're always seeking for what can we improve. So here in Hungary, but also in Romania, they thought, okay, but the international alignment or cross-department alignment could be improved. So it's not that you lay back and think, okay, we are quite good. All the people challenge themselves and think, okay, what can we improve? And the tearing down silos and improving cross-department exchanges and getting some lessons learned from other departments is something they will focus on in the next weeks and months.
Not you mentioned the next weeks and months. Now it's their job to pick up the torch and take it forward in the organization and sit down with their teams and do similar introspections and reflections on how we are running things. What do you hope to see where this is going, and how do you see these values, if lived well, would potentially take the company?
Personally, I hope that not only the managers, that all the other employees will be inspired by those workshops and able to reflect on a regular basis their own way of thinking and behavior, that people wouldn't rely on others to boost our values. I hope that everyone sees the necessity and will contribute with their own in their own way and interest to improve ways of working. That's what I would like to see. I also would like to see that I will receive some feedback how to improve on a more corporate level. So here I see my responsibility in order to convince and support and advise my leadership peers, but also the managing directors, how can we improve our leadership from HQ to the world.
Thank you very much for joining us today and also supporting us in the local implementation. But before we sign off, do you have any specific advice that you would give any employee and colleague listening in, how they can contribute to this cultural change and direction?
I would like to encourage you to think not too complex. Sometimes the little steps, the little improvements are more important than a big step, what you have to prepare long upfront. Secondly, don't hesitate, be brave. Try to raise your voice, try to do something differently. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You will be backed, you will be supported. And when you go different ways or raise your voice, then we all can improve at the end. So don't hesitate, be authentic, be yourself, and try things you would normally hesitate, but just try it. You will get support from other ones, no problem. So that's how we are. That's how everyone likes to be. Be positive. Everything will be good.
Thank you very much for the encouragement and the insights. Thanks very much, everyone, for listening in today's podcast episode. And until next time.